What if I told you that a U.S. Special Forces raid meant to capture a single drug lord ended up uncovering something far darker? Something that changed how America viewed the entire war on drugs. It was supposed to be a quick operation, in and out. The target, a heavily fortified compound deep in the mountains of northern Mexico, believed to be the safe house of a cartel lieutenant managing over $300 million in cash and weapons. Intelligence from intercepted communications pointed to a secret vault under the property. But what the team found inside that vault wasn't just money. It was a secret that left even the most hardened soldiers stunned.
Today, the Justice Department is announcing significant enforcement actions against the largest, most violent, and most prolific fentanyl trafficking operation in the world.
The raid began before dawn. Black Hawk helicopters skimmed the treetops, their rotors barely audible over the wind. The mission was classified under the code named Operation Silent Rift. The plan was simple: breach, secure, extract. But as the team approached the compound, they realized something wasn't right. The lights were on, but no guards were visible. No movement. No dogs barking. For a place that supposedly housed one of the most dangerous men in Mexico, it was eerily quiet. Still, they advanced. The first team scaled the perimeter wall and cut through the power lines. Within seconds, the entire compound went dark. Then, gunfire erupted. Hidden snipers opened fire from inside the mansion. It wasn't a trap, it was an ambush. The cartel had known they were coming. The stakes skyrocketed. The U.S. team, made up of a mix of DEA special response agents and U.S. Army advisors, had walked straight into a kill zone. Automatic gunfire shredded the courtyard walls. Explosions lit up the trees. But the Americans were trained for chaos. Within minutes, they regrouped, launched smoke grenades, and breached the main villa. Inside, they found something unexpected: military-grade weaponry, anti-air missiles, encrypted radios, and crates marked with serial numbers that didn't belong to any known arms supplier. Whoever was funding this hideout wasn't just a drug cartel, they had military connections. As the battle died down, the team began to sweep the property. In one of the side buildings, they found an armored garage containing SUVs with diplomatic plates. The VIN numbers were fake, but the vehicles had transponders connected to foreign networks. This wasn't just a local cartel stash. It was an international operation running right under everyone's nose. The commanding officer gave the order: check the basement. That's where everything changed. A steel door hidden behind a wall of liquor crates led to a staircase descending into darkness. The team used thermal scopes. No movement. They breached it anyway. What they found underground didn't match anything they'd expected. The basement wasn't a storage area, it was a bunker. Reinforced with concrete, lined with LED lights, and filled with servers humming quietly. Dozens of computer terminals, encrypted hard drives, and satellite uplinks filled the room. On the walls, maps of U.S. southern border checkpoints, shipping lanes, and major American cities. But the most disturbing part? The live feeds. Several monitors displayed real-time surveillance from ports in California, warehouses in Texas, even U.S. Navy docks. Somehow, the cartel was receiving military-grade intelligence. Someone inside the system was feeding them classified data. When the tech team decrypted one of the servers, they found files labeled Manifest Alpha. Inside were shipping logs, fake customs documents, and photos of containers leaving Asia, containers that matched DEA watch lists. It wasn't just drugs. These were hybrid shipments, narcotics mixed with weapons components and rare minerals, all hidden under legitimate cargo. The realization hit hard. This cartel wasn't smuggling drugs into the U.S. They were helping foreign clients smuggle weapons out. As the operation continued, the U.S. forces uncovered something even stranger. Behind another sealed door lay a narrow hallway leading to what looked like a small medical lab. Freezers, test tubes, and biohazard containers. But inside the freezers weren't drugs. They contained human tissue samples, labeled with codes tied to missing persons cases from across Mexico. At first, they thought it was evidence of organ trafficking. But when specialists later analyzed the DNA, the truth was worse. Some of the samples matched former cartel members who had supposedly been killed years earlier. Others were completely untraceable, ghost identities, people who didn't exist on any record. The lab was running experiments, genetic sequencing, testing for drug resistance, and synthetic compound trials. It looked more like a clandestine biotech operation than anything tied to narcotics. Intelligence analysts would later call it the Cartel Genome Project. The goal? To engineer new synthetic narcotics that could evade detection in drug tests and sniffer systems. This wasn't a cartel hiding from science. They were using it. Then came the biggest twist of all. Inside the server logs, the team found emails between cartel bosses and what appeared to be corporate executives from an overseas shipping conglomerate. Encrypted correspondence showed payment transfers in cryptocurrency, millions routed through offshore accounts linked to Hong Kong and Dubai. That's when they found the name Project Meridian. At first, no one knew what it meant. But cross-referencing financial records revealed that Project Meridian was tied to a logistics company contracted by multiple Western corporations for global trade routes. The cartel's hideout wasn't just a drug vault. It was the nerve center of a multinational laundering network funneling profits through legitimate shipping channels. The DEA called it the most sophisticated hybrid crime operation in modern history. Drugs, weapons, data, and finance, all woven together. But then, one of the soldiers noticed something odd in the surveillance footage loop. A timestamp in one of the camera feeds showed a date that didn't make sense, 3 hours into the future. It wasn't an error. The cartel's network was connected to a remote satellite relay, one that allowed them to monitor live military operations almost in real time. They weren't reacting to raids, they were predicting them. Someone, somewhere, had given them access to America's tactical feed system. When word reached Washington, the entire operation was immediately classified. Every soldier involved was pulled into debriefing. The bunker's equipment was seized and transported to a secure facility. But the deeper investigators dug, the stranger it became. Among the files found on those servers were flight paths of U.S. military drones, coordinates of anti-cartel operations, and private communications between federal agencies. The leak was massive. A mole inside the system had been selling access to classified intelligence, and the cartel was one of the buyers. The shockwave through Washington was immediate. Multiple defense contractors were quietly investigated. Some mid-level officers were reassigned. A few resigned overnight. No one talked about it publicly, but everyone in the intelligence community knew that the $300 million hideout had ripped the veil off a shadow war happening in the dark. The drug cartel wasn't just dealing cocaine. It was part of an information exchange network, selling data, weapons, and influence to whoever could pay. And yet, that wasn't even the end. Weeks after the raid, while cataloging evidence, forensic analysts decrypted one last hard drive. It contained a single video file, recorded on a handheld camera. The footage showed a man in a dark suit speaking English with a faint European accent. Behind him was a whiteboard with the word rebirth. He spoke calmly. Phase 1 is nearly complete. The Americans are distracted. Supply routes remain open. The next shipment leaves Veracruz in 72 hours. If they find this message, it will already be too late. The file was timestamped 2 days before the raid. That meant the operation had been leaked before it even began. Someone within the intelligence network had warned them. The ambush at the compound wasn't a coincidence. It was a countermove. The realization sent chills through every agency involved. The U.S. hadn't just found a cartel. They'd stumbled into a global intelligence war where private entities, foreign actors, and organized crime had merged into one invisible enemy. Officially, Operation Silent Rift was declared a success. $300 million in cash and assets seized. Dozens of cartel members arrested. But behind closed doors, officials knew it was only a small victory in a much larger, more dangerous game. In the months that followed, unexplained assassinations occurred in Central America. Journalists investigating the raid vanished. Offshore accounts were drained. Some of the corporations connected to Project Meridian quietly rebranded and relocated. The soldiers who led the raid never spoke publicly about what they saw underground. The official reports mentioned data anomalies and unlisted materials. But according to one anonymous source, what haunted them most wasn't the shootout, or the drugs, or even the money. It was the feeling that they'd uncovered something no one was supposed to find, that the hideout had been built not to protect the cartel's wealth, but to hide a truth too explosive to expose. Even today, parts of the compound remain sealed under federal guard. Locals say you can still hear humming beneath the mountain at night, the sound of servers that were never fully shut down. Maybe it's just machinery still running. Or maybe it's a signal, a reminder that somewhere in the shadows, the war on drugs has evolved into something else entirely. So what do you think will happen next, when the next raid uncovers not just criminals, but the architects behind them?